Hey y'all, welcome back. It's Crystal. Got another book haul. It's fine. It's fine. You know, it's fine. But I do want to show them to you. Because I love watching book hauls, personally. So this is a big mix of stuff. I visited a couple of thrift stores, like you do. I got a book outlet order. I've got some random new books. I even got some book fair stuff for my kids' book fair. Yeah, piles of books around me. So let's get started. A little stacked. First off, and right on top are two books I did pick up at my kids' book fair. How fun are book fairs? Remember having those when you were a kid? And it's just as exciting when you're a grown-up. So I picked up Front Desk by Kelly Yang. I've heard such good things about this one, and I really want to read it. So I know it's about a Chinese immigrant family that come into the U.S. and they work at a hotel, and I think the young daughter kind of helps out at the front desk, and I think they help other immigrants also, something like that. So I heard it's fantastic, and so it was there. I bought it. And I saw this, but I've never seen this book. It's called Show Me a Sign by Anne Claire Lizotte. And it says Mary Lambert has always felt safe and protected on her beloved island of Martha's Vineyard. Her great-great-grandfather was an early English settler and the first deaf islander. Now, over 100 years later, many people there, including Mary, are deaf, and nearly everyone can communicate in sign language. She's never felt isolated and always proud of her lineage. But recent events, recent events have delivered winds of change. Mary's brother dies, leaving her family shattered. Tensions over land disputes are mounting between English settlers and the Wampanoag people. And then there's something else. Yeah, other things going on in here, but I had not heard of this book. I love anything that, has to do with, disability, and, it sounds really fantastic. Let me see, I was going to see when this was written. And this just came out in 2020, so sounds amazing. Yeah, so I picked that one up too. I picked up the Imago sequence and other stories by Laird Barron. I've just been digging short stories lately, and I wanted to give Laird Barron another go. I did not like The Croning by him, but I'm not prepared to give up. I want to read more by him because I think he's someone that I would enjoy. I think that book just wasn't for me, So I'm gonna dive into some of his short stories. Some year, I don't know, whatever. I picked up Autumn Gothic, of course, by Brian Boyer. This one's a little chunkier. I'm excited, and I can't wait. I can't wait to read this book. So, it takes place in San Francisco. Wait, hold on. Oh no, they go to West Virginia. Okay, West Virginia. And they encounter a savage entity known as the Sorceress of Night. And that is all I need to know. It's Brian Boyer. I'm a big Boyer fan. I'm gonna read that. I picked up Natural Histories by Guadalupe Nettle. This is just a slim little story collection. 5 dark and delicately written stories. I'm doing short stories a lot. I picked this one up for June on the Range. I'm going to dive into Annie Proulx's, some of her short stories. This is called Close Range, and this is book 1 of her Wyoming stories. This is the one that has Brokeback Mountain in it. But it has some other stories. One story that I actually have heard phenomenal things about was, what's the name of that story? I think it was The Half-Skinned Steer that I just heard was fantastic. So this will go right into that Western theme of June on the Range. And so it'll probably be my short story read for that month. Very excited. I don't know that I've read any Annie Proulx. Maybe I've read the shipping news back in the day, but that is probably it. You know. All right. I went ahead and picked up a copy of Lush and Seething Hell, Two Tales of Cosmic Horror by John Horner Jacobs. This is a must-have, I think, if you're a horror fan. And yeah, just 2 cosmic horror stories in here. You know, Horror Mayhem's coming up pretty soon. Maybe I'll get to one of those. I don't know. We'll see. I picked up a copy of When the Reckoning Comes because I wanted it for my shelf because I loved this book. I just wanted it. I might reread this someday. Oh, so good, you guys. This was really cheap. I picked it up. The Hiding Place by C.J. Tudor. I read, was it The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor? And it was pretty good. Again, this was, you know, I think just a couple of bucks. So another story of like someone going home again. I love that trope. And I needed a copy of Slewfoot, of course, by Brom. This is one I picked up from Book Outlet, of course. And I just needed it. I needed it. It was a need. Of course, beautifully illustrated by Brom. And yeah, I've heard good stuff about this story, so I needed that to copy. I've got Second Place by Rachel Cusk. I don't remember what brought me this to my attention, but I think probably because it was an artist. A woman invites a famous artist to use her guest house in a remote coastal landscape, and powerfully drawn to his paintings, she believes his vision might penetrate the mystery at the center of her life. But as the long, dry summer sets in, his provocative presence itself becomes an enigma and disrupts the calm of her secluded household. That sounds great. And look at that awesome cover. I wanted to read more Karen Russell. This is Orange World. This is a selection of her short stories. I read Vampires in the Lemon Grove last year. More of her short stories. Really loved them. She's just kind of strange kind of stories, and I wanted more. So I got this one. I still actually really need to read Swamplandia too. I still haven't read that one. I don't know how it is. I've been wanting to dig into this too. Sitting Pretty, The View from My Ordinary Resilient Disabled Body by Rebecca Tossegg. I enjoy reading books that, from disabled authors, and Rebecca is a disability advocate, and just does great stuff. So I think this is a kind of more of maybe like an essay collection. So yeah, there's like 8 essays in here about her life, so that's gonna be cool. I picked up another actual Rachel Cusk book, The Country Life, and this one sounds good too. Stella sets off for a tiny Sussex village, housing a family that is somewhat larger than life. Her hopes for the Maddens may be high, but her station among them as an au pair to their irascible son Martin is undeniably low. What could possibly have driven her to leave her home, job, and life in London for such rural ignominy? Why has she severed all contact with her parents? Why is she so reluctant to talk about her past? A rich and subtle story about embarrassment, awkwardness, and being alone, about families, or the lack of them, and about love in some peculiar guises. Sounds great. Oh, this was on Book Outlet too, so I picked it up. It's a picture book. She Made a Monster, How Mary Shelley Created Frankenstein by Lynn Fulton, illustrated by Felicita Sala. It has gorgeous illustrations. Are they amazing? Oops. So it just goes into how she wrote, how Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, and love to have that on my shelf. It's gonna be, I haven't read it quite yet, but okay. Let me grab a few things. I bought a poetry book. I've been trying to get into some poetry. This is What Kind of Woman by Kate Baer. And, poems that are unforgettably beautiful as they are accessible. Proves herself to be an exemplary voice in modern poetry. Makes women feel seen in their own bodies, their own marriages, and their own lives. We'll see. We'll give it a go. I picked up Gone South by Robert Mccammon. Now, this is actually a follow-up to Boy's Life. Has anyone read this? I want to know if you read this and is it good? So, yeah, I need to know. But I want to read it. Kevin's great, so I just need to read more by him in general. I picked up Dawn by Eli Vesel. I've only read Night, so I feel like I need to read all of these. So this is the second book. I think there's 4 in this series. So it's translated from the French by Francis Frenet. Yeah, very. Just feels like required reading, you know. I've been wanting this. Earth Eaters by Dolores Reyes. I love this cover. Oh, God. So, in an unnamed slum in Argentina, a young woman can't stop eating earth. Her odd compulsion gives her visions of the murdered and disappeared, burdening her with secrets she'd rather not know. Earth Eater keeps her disturbing visions to herself, but soon enough, rumor of her power spread, and desperate members of her community seek her out to help find loved ones. I don't know, it just sounds so cool. And this is also translated from Spanish by Julia Sanchez. Earth Eater. Not super long either. I think Juan over at Plagued by Visions recommended this one. I had it on my radar and I just bought it. I didn't realize it's kind of chunky. So Negative Space by B.R. Yeager. I feel like somebody else had read this too. I can't remember now, but it just sounded great. So yeah. I like the size of this little book too. It's another great cover. Man, some of these are just killing it with covers. I wanted a copy of this. I've read this already. Fungi. It's an anthology of stories that involve fungus in some way. Most are very strange. Some are kind of scary. Some are kind of fantasy. It's a fantastic collection. I don't know if anything involving fungi is like a buzzword for me. And I have been thinking about some of the stories in here, wanting to reread them. So I went ahead and just bought my own copy. And Jeff Vandermeer has a story in here. Laird Barron has a story in here. John Langan's story in here is really good. It's good stuff in there. I picked this up because it is the book club pick for the From Hell book club for May. Chain Letter by Ruby Jean Jensen. And I don't know, I just wanted a copy of it. I don't have the old cool vintage copy, but this copy isn't terrible. You know, it kind of gets the point across, I think, you know. So, I don't know, if anyone that remembers chain letters from back in the day, you know, if you break the chain letter, you're supposed to bring back bad luck, you know. But in this one, if you break the chain, I think you end up killed. So, let's see, this is from 1987. Good old Ruby Jean. I read House of Illusions by her a couple months ago. It was fun, so I definitely want to check out some old Ruby Jean. Another short story collection. Y'all know I'm just back on my BS here. Dreadful Young Ladies and Other Stories by Kelly Barnhill. Now, Kelly Barnhill I mostly know from middle grade stories, but I saw this and I was like, oh, okay. She's got some short stories. Let me check those out. And right here it says a playful, witchy collection of addictive tales. I mean, that's all I really need to know. And another fantastic cover. Isn't that wonderful? Looks like a chalk drawing. Okay, I'm going to get some more. Hey, look, it's another short story collection. The Rock Eaters by Brenda Panato. I don't remember who brought this one to my attention too either, but I can't remember now. But let's see, this is translated too, I think. Let me think. Maybe it's not. Okay, not translated. I was thinking it was, but let's see, right here at the top. What does it mean to be other? What does it mean to love in a world determined to keep us apart? These questions murmur in the heart of Brenda Panato's singular work, threaded with magic and portals into other worlds. They cross borders and break down walls personally and politically. Yeah, that's all I really need to know. Bought another Ruth Ozeki book. Have I read any Ruth Ozeki yet? No, I have not. But I've been wanting to read My Year of Meats. And so I found a cheap copy. This was her debut novel, but let's see. A documentarian lands a job producing My American Wife, a Japanese television show sponsored by an American meat exporting business. She discovers some unsavory truths about love, fertility, and a hormone called DES. And it goes from there. I think it sounds great. Okay, Melmoth by Sarah Perry. Did Lydia over at... Did she talk about this? Somebody talked about this. I can't remember now. Anyway. Very gothic looking cover. Let's see. One winter night in Prague, Helen Franklin meets her friend Carol on the street. He tells her he has come into possession of a mysterious old manuscript filled with personal testimonies that take them from 17th century England and wartime Czechoslovakia, the tropical streets of Manila, and 1920s Turkey. All of them tell of being followed by a tall, silent woman in black, bearing an unforgettable message. That sounds great. You know, it's just over the 250 mark. This might be a good gothic story for Horror Mayhem. Because I don't really... You know, gothic is like, what does gothic mean? Because I am who I am, I picked up books 2 and 3 of this series. Have I read book 1? No, but they were cheap. And I just feel like it's a story, a series I'm gonna like. You know, you just get that feeling. You get that feeling. And I don't want to read the backs, of course, because it's books 2 and 3 of Malus Domestica series. Sounds great. The Treat by Nick Cutter is the book club pick for Rachel over the Shades of Orange's book club. I think from May or June. I can't remember now. But I found a cheap copy, so I went ahead and picked it up. Never read this one yet, so I'm excited to read. I know this has a lot of kind of body horror, gross stuff in it, so I'm excited. I think about, you know, like a scout troop that goes on this camping trip on this island, and then stuff occurreth. All right, another stack. I apologize for bending down, but I didn't have anywhere else to put these books. Whoa, and they're falling everywhere. Alright, this looks like a mainly thrift store haul. I went to a thrift store that I hadn't been to in quite a while, because I had a doctor's appointment, and you know, it's right there. It's right there. So let me just pop in. You never know what you'll find. And I found some stuff. So I found a werewolf romance book by Christina Dodd called Scent of Darkness. Yeah, sounds great. 1,000 years ago, a brutal warrior roamed the Russian steppes and struck a sinister bargain. Constantine. Oh, he sold his soul to the devil. Dun dun dun. I think it's a werewolf romance book. I picked this up. I have all kinds of little Poe books, but I loved the cover on this one. Isn't that a great cover? So this is 10 Great Mysteries by Edgar Allan Poe. Let's see what's all in here. Murder in the Rue Morgue, The Purloined Letter, The Telltale Heart. I mean, it's classic. Facts in the Case of Valdemar, The Pit and the Pendulum, Tale of the Ragged Mountains, Descent into Maelstrom, The Black Cat, and Thou Art the Man. And Metzengerstein. Oof. But just a cool cover. Isn't that great? Isn't that cool? I mean, paperbacks at that place are 50 cents. So I picked up Giovanni's Gift by Bradford Morrow. It just sounded really neat. I don't know. It let's see. Solitary mountain ranch violated by terrifying nocturnal visitors. The grisly death of the ranch's immigrant caretaker. A young man hoping to piece together a broken life, suddenly confronted with a love stronger than he has ever known. And a cigar box, circa 1940, filled with seemingly random knickknacks and a hidden message, all connected, and lives hang on the riddle's solution. I know, it sounded cool. And again, they're 50 cents. Has anyone read this one? I would really love to know about that. It sounded cool. Picked up a John Irving book. Again, 50 cents. The Fourth Hand. I don't know. I just picked it up. Picked up some Alice Munro short stories. 50 cents. I don't know. Whatever. Alice Munro. Who I don't think I've ever read any of Alice Munro. That's a shame. I found a Ron Rash book, Nothing Cold Can Stay. I've not read this one, so I'm excited to dig into that one. I enjoy Ron Rash. If you like southern stories, particularly Appalachia area. So he returns again to Appalachia to capture lives haunted by violence and tenderness, hope and fear in a collection of unforgettable stories that span the Civil War to the present day. The violence of Ron Rash's characters and their raw settings are matched only by their resonance and stark beauty, a masterful combination that has earned Rash avalanche of praise. I like blah-blah-blah my words today. So it's a short story collection. I'm excited about that. I always enjoy that. So I picked this up because I just saw the name Louis L'Amour with Joan on the Range coming, and then I reopened it, and this just takes place in freaking Russia, like Siberia. So I don't know. It still sounds pretty cool though. The Last Breed. Let's see. We've got an Air Force major, proud of his long nurtured legacy of his Indian ancestors. Experimental aircraft is forced down over the Bering Sea by Russians starved for military secrets. So he soon makes a spectacular escape from a prison camp and flees into the wilderness of Siberia. I mean, it sounds pretty cool, but it don't sound like a Western. But hey, that's okay. It does sound pretty cool. And I mean, how's that for an author photo? Amazing. Look at the bolo tie. He was cool. I found Saint X by Alexis Schaetken. I remember when this one came out. I think it's these people are on vacation and a kid disappears or something. Let me think. Okay, yeah. So Claire is 7 years old when her college-age sister Allison disappears on the last night of their family vacation on a resort in the Caribbean. So yeah, so it's like her body is found, a couple of days later, and then I think it just goes from there. So sounds like a good thriller. Another book for my Philippa Gregory collection, which I've gotten woefully behind on reading, but I enjoy these historical fiction stories. This is Three Sisters, Three Queens, part of the Tudor series that she has going on. So this one is, let's see. Dun, dun, dun. When Catherine of Aragon is brought to the Tudor court as a young bride, the oldest Princess Margaret takes her measure. With one look, each knows the other for a rival, an ally, a pawn, destined with Margaret's younger sister Mary to a sisterhood unique in all the world. All the three sisters will become the queens of England, Scotland, and France. So I like this series because she writes this part of history through the women characters of the time, through the British royalty, starting with the Cousins' War and then into the Tudor period and all that kind of stuff. So I've read a few so far, and I just enjoy them. This is one I didn't have, so woohoo! A Judy Blume I didn't have. Then again, maybe I won't. followed a 16-year-old Joel in this one. Ooh, that's right. This is Tony, who was a shoplifter, who was like one of the kids' friend. That's right. Okay, I remember that now. I found a couple of Star Wars books. I found nice hardback copies of Episode 1, Phantom Menace, novelization by Terry Brooks, and Episode 2, Attack of the Clones by R.A. Salvatore. So really nice. I mean, the dust jackets are just nice condition. These were great. Wish they had book 3, but maybe they only got to books 1 and 2. These people, before they donated it to the thrift store. So I paid $1 for these. So these will go into my Star Wars collection, and I'm excited. And I'll read these for sure, actually. So, but Terry Brooks writing a Star Wars book, that's kind of neat. So yeah. Oh, look at the back. Okay, I've got one more large stack. Let me adjust myself. These are these are more thrift store finds. Speaking of Star Wars, I picked up a little middle grade book about Boba Fett Pursuit for the Clone Wars series. It's just a little middle grade book. I picked up a copy of North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. I've never read this one, but I guess I feel like I should at some point. It's a classic, I do have it on I have this list of like 50 classics I want to read before I turn 50, and I'm not doing very well with that list. If you guys want to see that list, let me know, but yeah. I found a really cool copy of The Complete Sherlock Holmes Volume 1 by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Looks like it's part of the Barnes & Noble like classics here. But really great. And tiny font in there. But yeah, it's got a lot of the Sherlock stories. But I've not read a single one, so sounds cool. That'd be cool to dig into some year. The Devil's Workshop by Joachim Topol. Just sounded kind of neat. Translated from the Czech by Alex Zucker. A young boy grows up happily in Terezin, an infamous fortress town in the site of a former Nazi prison, until one day there's an accident, and he is forced to leave. Returning to Terezin many years later, he joins a campaign to preserve the town, but before long the authorities impose a brutal crackdown. Chaos ensues, and the narrator finds himself fleeing to Belarus, where fresh horrors drive him even closer to the evils he had hoped to escape. It says a bold, brilliant, and blackly comic paints a deeply troubling portrait of two countries dealing with their ghosts, and asks, at what point do we consign the past to history? So, I mean, it definitely sounds pretty interesting. I've not really heard many people talk about this, so I don't know much about it, but it sounds interesting. I found a copy of The Night Circus. I read this book, but I didn't have a copy for my shelf, and so I just picked it up again. This is the thrift store that's 69 cents paperbacks, so, I'm going to pick it up. I'd like to reread that book someday. I found The Founding Ground by Avi. It's just a middle grade book. Looks like it's taking place possibly during the Revolutionary War period. We'll see about that guys. I found a Darcy in Cabin 13. Now this I think is part of a little series. I think Darcy has there's a few books. Yeah, Who's Reading Darcy's Diary, Darcy in the Dance Contest, that kind of thing. But they're at a summer camp, and it looks like there's another group of like snobby girls that they're, are rivals with. I picked up John Rhys, White Star Gas Size C. Never read this. I should probably go on my classics list, right? I think this is a take on Jane Eyre, right? Which I've not read Jane Eyre either. So I need to read Jane Eyre and then read this, right? I found Wish by Barbara O'Connor. Another middle grade book that has a dog on it, so it's probably sweet. I picked up Jimmy Spoon and the Pony Express by Christiana Gregory. I thought this might be a fun little read for June on the Range, also about the Pony Express. It looks cute. Little middle grade story. And then last but not least, my friends, I found, I don't know, was this about 30, 20-ish books or so of the Nancy Drew Files books at the thrift store. And they're in pretty decent shape. Let's run through them. Why not? These came out in kind of the late 80s. So this is number 1. So it is dated 1986. And so Nancy, I think Nancy in these is like an adult, right? I think she works with like a newspaper. I never read these, so I don't really know. But I think so. I'm not totally sure. But anyway, so here's number 1. Case number 1. Secrets Can Kill. Looks like there's like a car on fire back there. He's the schmuck with the sweater over his hood. Yeah. These are all by Carolyn King, by the way. I found number 4, Smile and Say Murder. This one's a little dirty looking, but I mean, they're readable. A little bit of staining on the page of those, but again, these were 69 cents each, so I wasn't going to leave them behind. I dug through this bin to make sure I found all that I could. Number 6, Whitewater Terror. Great covers. Number 11, The Heart of Danger. Ooh, this one looks like it's out west. Maybe I can read it for June on the Range. Number 12, Fatal Ransom. I do wonder if all of the books were there at one point. Like, I don't know. Number 21, Recipe for Murder. And they all have this Christina hand in there. So she had all these books. So. Fatal Attraction. Another thing in flames in the background. Oh, that was number 22. Number 24, Till Death Do Us Part. That was a little grungy. Number 25, Rich and Dangerous. Look at the clothes. They're just so perfect. Number 30, Death by Design. That's amazing. Number 32, High Marks from Alice. Look at that sweater. Number 36, Over the Edge. Number 37, Last Dance. Another amazing dress. Number 39, The Suspect Next Door. Dun, dun, dun. I love this one. Number 42, The Wrong Chemistry. Just in like a leather jacket and stuff. Number 43, False Impressions. Again, yeah, they're pretty decent shape. Number 44, Scent of Danger. Number 46, Win, Place, or Die. Takes place at the horse track. Let's see, A Summer of Love trilogy, and this is number 2. Case 49, Portrait in Crime. So I don't have number 1 or number 3. Let's see, number 52. Like the cover's kind of changed here, but this is Danger for Hire. Number 54, Cold as Ice. Another something in flames in the background. Number 55, Don't Look Twice. Number 59, High Risk. And number 61, Sweet Revenge. So I looked up this series, and I think there was like 125 or something in the series, so I definitely have, if I want to collect them all, I got a lot more to go, but I don't know, I just couldn't leave them, I can't leave them there. I see stuff like this at the thrifts, and they're coming home with me. That's, again, I am who I am. And I think that's it, my friends. Another big book haul. It's okay. I need to unhaul some stuff, though, because I got some books on my shelf I probably don't want anymore, but anyway, thanks for watching. That's it. Another big haul. Again, let me know if you've read any of these, or let me know. What should I read something early? Let me know. I want to know. And thanks so much for watching. That's going to do it for me today. I always appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Till next time. Bye, friends.